take care of this heathen myself!
Jailbreak, Assassin's Creed Mirage.
It had a unique pattern, you see. One I stitched together with my father when I was just a boy.
This is the first big stealth mission in Mirage, but it's also one of the trickiest since it's even harder to avoid suspicion sneaking into a prison than sneaking into most other places. Basim is sent into Damascus Gate prison to free Ali ibn Muhammad, the leader of the local rebels. Ali is being held deep in the bowels of the prison. It takes a long time to navigate the maze-like tunnels and find him. Once he's freed, there's a scripted moment when, while trying to break into the guards' quarters, the game will spawn new enemies on top of you. This is all to explain why they're holding off the guards in the subsequent cutscene, but it's definitely frustrating.
Hurry! I have it! Take it to Roshan, my master. She is with your rebels at the Watermill stronghold. I will slow the guards.
Storming the walls. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You will die today, Fulke, but your men may live if you come here to me and settle this alone.
We have nothing to settle. Die on these walls if you will. It is your choice.
The newer Assassin's Creed games have definitely gotten easier in some regards, and trickier yet in others. They've now got true boss fights that don't rely on puzzles, and while some of those fights are great, others aren't worth the effort. This mandatory fight against Folk is particularly difficult, but unlike bosses like the Daughters of Larion, it's not really because it's supposed to be.
Keep fighting, men! I'll take care of the gate!
It's difficult because you're trying to raid and storm a castle while also fighting Folk, who will pursue Eivor, and Eivor alone. She's also a damage sponge, and if you're not over-leveled, it can take a while to get through a fight that doesn't change or do anything interesting. It's a real test of your patience.
That is my victory. And you will go with me to the grave.
The Goddess's Hunt. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
When you put it like that, how could I not accept? There's a boar not too far from here. Kill it, then bring me its pelt.
Early in Odyssey, you'll encounter Daphne of Phocis, a huntress with the Daughters of Artemis, who gives you a quest to travel Greece and slay various mythical creatures. These aren't the mythical Isu experiments you need to beat for the story, but famous beasts from elsewhere in mythology, like the Cretan bull and the Nemean lion. And while some of the bosses are relatively easy, like the giant stag, others are the bane of AC players everywhere, specifically the two boars. Though, for our money, the Caledonian boar is the worst of them. It's annoying and it will repeatedly spawn regular boars to also attack you. It's so notorious, it's had many players lowering the difficulty just to get through this fight. Lucius Septimius, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Caesar is the father of understanding.
You and Caesar will die.
You are meddling with the affairs of the Order. The Order is greater than Rome.
Finally, a mission that's hard because it's designed well instead of being designed terribly. Under the name The Jackal, Septimius is the most intimidating member of the Order that Bayek and Aya dedicate their lives to defeating, following the murder of their son. And it's Aya, not Bayek, who gets to fight him that last time and finally defeat him.
You have no honor! You stole everything from me!
He's fast and his attacks have a surprising amount of range, and it can be tricky to learn his attack pattern when he has so many moves to utilize. Eventually though, you'll triumph in the most cathartic boss fight of the whole game.
The only thing that waits for you is oblivion. For your name, your order, and the rotting corpses of your Gavignani.
A thorn in the side. Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
As you wish. I shall find it without your help, and then I'll strangle you with it. Watch her closely.
Of all the stealth assassinations in Syndicate, taking out Evie's nemesis, Lucy Thorn, might be the worst. For this mission, you're spirited away to a new and enclosed map, the Tower of London, and you can't leave until you've done the deed. And as it's the Tower of London, it's full of guards, both Royal and Templar, and they will not take kindly to you wandering around.
Are you ignoring me? How dare you!
It's long and annoying to unlock the unique assassination opportunities. Plus, as it's a brand new area, you've also got to get your bearings. And finally, when you do reach Lucy Thorn, she's just as obnoxious as always.
Typical of the assassins.
The Tournament, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Remember, you must collect the flags quickly to qualify for the next event. Begin!
One big selling point of Unity at the time, though it wasn't clear that any of the fans were asking for this, was that it supported up to 4-player co-op. As such, it's got co-op missions littered across the map, including one called the Tournament, where you have to do a parkour route to collect flags and then win at a fight.
Everybody ready! On guard! Hold it!
You're supposed to have 4 players to do this, but if you try to do it solo, it's easily the hardest thing in the entire game. And unfortunately, given Unity's age and the fact it still ran poorly up until very recently, you're going to struggle to find anyone to do co-op with. That means if you want to complete the game, you're almost definitely going to have to solo this mission. Storm Fortress, Assassin's Creed Rogue. Rogue is in general an underrated entry in the series. True fans stand by it, but you'll find plenty of people who just never got around to picking it up. This one mission, however, might make you want to throw down your controller in rage, as it's unanimously agreed to be the worst part of the whole game. The Storm Fortress is one of the legendary ships, easily the hardest Shay has to fight. It's a towering beast with a huge health bar, capable of doing massive damage if it rams you. Worst, once you whittle away enough of its health, it'll summon 2 more giant man-o'-wars to come after you, meaning you have to fight them as well. At that point, it's just cruel. The Siege of Charles-Towne, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Aye, and in something of a hurry. I propose we follow, else they spring something we ain't ready for.
Tailing missions have always been the worst part of this franchise, but what if you had to do a tailing mission while sailing a pirate ship? Somebody at Ubisoft thought that was a good idea, and they built this mission where Kenway needs to steer the Jackdaw through a swamp to tail another boat.
I see them. Over there. Let us hope the river remains this wide.
It takes forever, and even the characters point out that it's a ridiculous and terrible idea, so who knows why it was kept in the game. You've also got to periodically leave the Jackdaw to take out guards on land, and getting full sync requires you to skin a bunch of crocodiles for some reason. Battle of the Chesapeake, Assassin's Creed 3.
Lafayette promised me a fleet beyond compare and a captain without peer. Instead, I find myself greeted by one whole ship and a boy in costume.
I promise we are all you need, Admiral.
It may have been the first game in the franchise to offer the series' famous naval combat, but it definitely wasn't working at its best here. That's what makes this mission so difficult, especially if you're wanting that coveted 100% synchronization. If you're doing that, you have to destroy all the ships with just one broadside. And and there are 13 of them. Not only that, but friendly fire is a big issue here, as there are many allied ships also in the water. Those ships definitely won't help with the fight, but they will get in the way when you're trying to win the battle for the Patriots. The Champion, Part 2. Assassin's Creed Revelations.
That same brute has now set his sights on the printer's father, a local herald.
A cruel way to draw his real target out into the open, no?
Daily missions are bad enough, but escort missions in Assassin's Creed might be even worse. The assassins need to defend a guy from an angry Templar who, for some reason, really has it out for him. You have to defend him from a group of enemies, and for full sync, he's not allowed to lose any health.
I have nothing to do with it.
But even if you're not going for full sync, he has such little health that it's all too easy for him to get hurt and die. Combine that with the large number of civilians running around threatening Ezio with desynchronization if he's not careful, you've got a doozy.
Words can wound like any blade, amigo.
Ezio, I think we are being watched.
In and out. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. We know you were expecting to see the tank again, but if you're not going for 100% sync, the tank mission isn't quite as bad as this one. Ezio needs to assassinate another of the Borgias, this time a hedonist called the Banker, who's hosting a lavish party in the Roman ruins.
I've never been to Trastevere before. The old ruins make me nervous.
The problem is that you need to take an extremely specific route through the ruins to avoid getting detected. And as this is an older game, detection means instant desynchronization. You'll be trying over and over again to do the level in exactly the way Ubisoft wants you to, without any actual indication from them what that way is. It's trial and error in the worst way.
The things I have felt, seen, tasted. I do not regret a moment of it.
Port Authority. Assassin's Creed 2.
Savonarola will lead us into a new era. One of fraternity, equality, and justice.
If your assassination targets are particularly isolated, it can be very difficult to reach them without being detected. That's the big issue with this mission in Assassin's Creed 2, where you have to assassinate a merchant on a large ship. There are guards everywhere, and he monologues the entire time, which will really throw you off at first. Thankfully, Ubisoft didn't program the assassination target to react to the sound of gunshots, so you can use the gun to cheese it if it's proving too annoying to do legitimately. Anything to get him to stop talking.
I once considered them my...
Assassinating Sibrand. Assassin's Creed.
Master Sibrand, I would never propose violence against any man, and most certainly not against you.
So you say? And yet no one here will vouch for you.
In truth, most of the assassination missions can be difficult in the very first game because Ubisoft was still finding its feet. Though they were all set up for interesting kill opportunities, it could be tricky to get close without alerting a dozen guards. The same is true here when you need to take out Sibrand. What makes this so tedious is that Sibrand is a coward, and if Altair is spotted, which he probably will be because this is the very first game and it plays like that, he'll run away. He's on the docks though, so this means you have to do a very tricky platforming run to follow him without falling into the water, which is instant death. Why did you never learn to swim, Altair?
None of you will lift a hand in defense of your master! I'll take care of this heathen myself!
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.